pay that they should be making. And so, I mean, the economy is in bad shape.
Well, you know, here's the thing. This is probably the most important question of tonight, I think. Bill, you have a job while others don't. How does that happen?
I still feel like those collecting unemployment are, in fact, making more than me, Greg. Yes. And the other thing is, I would actually like to go back to Patty Ann Brown's question, if I may. So the last time the unemployment was this high was in 1983, correct?
Yes.
Right.
And Ronald Reagan was in office. So was that Carter's fault?
Maybe.
All right. Well, then we can blame Bush.
If I can dare to engage him.
Try.
I love it when you dare.
Keep your fingers away from his mouth.
And everything
Don't
else.
ignore the finger-mouth comment.
What Reagan inherited was an economy whereby it was too much government. The stagflation was in place. The underlying problems in the economy were where we are today, with government trying to spend their way out of it. Inflation was shooting through the roof because it was crowding out private investment. Reagan went to 4 simple things. He said you have to have abiding tax relief for the American people that's deep and permanent. You have to have regulatory reform. You have to have a sound dollar, and you have to have fiscal discipline. These are fundamentals of governance. And simply, the American people see this chaos in their economy mirrored by this trillions upon trillions of government spending. What they really want to say is, if we have to cut back and be prudent in our household expenditures, why can't the government?
There you go. Okay, well, I gotta move on that. I gotta go. You just got owned. The following segment is rated S for segment. It's a lazy Friday, people. What will Dolph Lundgren say to me later? Hopefully it's to say something interesting. Or not punch me in the face. Is it better to worship sod? Shut up, you. Than God? A judge in England has ruled believing in climate change is no different than believing in God. This judge, who I like to call Stupid Judge, says that a man claiming he was fired because of his belief in man-caused global warming can sue his former employer on the grounds that his earthy beliefs deserve the same legal protection as religious beliefs. Tim Nicholson claims he was let go from Granger PLC in July 2008 for his criticism of management on the basis of climate change beliefs. Nicholson, who refuses to travel by air, I don't know how else he does it, was upset that the head of the firm had an employee fly to Ireland, which is a country, I believe, to deliver his BlackBerry. I don't even know what that is. And he says that after he expressed his environmental sentiments, he was duly fired. Does have great hair, though. Yeah. The judge's ruling could open the door for employees to sue their companies for failing to account for their green lifestyles, such as providing recycling facilities or offering low-carbon travel. What does Dancing Lady think of this? I think she's pretty much okay with it, Congressman. I don't know. You know what? For most people who are into climate change, isn't it already a religion?
I don't know if it's fair to say that, but in many ways you see people that are averse to the scientific refutation of much of the underlying phony pseudoscience of global warming. So I think it's unfair, but in some instances, the cognitive dissonance of cold, hard facts bouncing off your head does tend to evidence some signs of being a pseudo-neo-pagan religion. And if you're looking, it's a good one for you.
Well, really, do you think I should look into that? Bill,
how dare you use words like cognitive and dissonance in front of him? Do we need a translator here?
I'm going to ask you, though. I have a serious question here. Ignore the freak.
How come you say that to PAB? Patty Ann, I am sorry. You may walk out of here if you deem necessary.
He's suffering from salarius.
Yeah, he really is. He really is. I got to ask
Actually, you're suffering from salarius now, my friend. That's my water.
Oh my God, it's contagious.
How do you, as say, a skeptic, and somebody who's read a skeptic of, say, climate change? A skeptic.
Assuage.
Assuage.
Yes.
Did I say? I wasn't even saying that. No, what do you say? I said, what do you say as a skeptic to somebody who's a believer so that they might take you seriously? I always run into people that always assume that I believe in climate change. And I don't know how to get around it.
Well, I'd change my hair if I were you. But
what does that have to do with it?
You look like you believe in climate change.
Oh, really? What, because of my hair?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's a peewee collar.
Looks like it's on the verge of deforestation. I'm the Sahara myself. But what you have to understand is that weather has cycles. It's had this forever. When I was growing up, when you were growing up listening to John Cougar's Born in the USA.
Yeah, it's a great album.
Tremendous album. Folk rock, Kingston Trail.
Not as good as Billy Joel's Nebraska.
What
Go
is?
ahead.
It's a pick-me-up album.
It really is.
Charles Starkweather.
Yes.
Yes, he's a real party guy. So what happens is, is that throughout the cycles of history, what you have to understand is weather cannot be controlled by having government raise your taxes, take your job, and dictate your life. The concept that Lyndon Johnson had of a great society at least didn't say government can control the weather. I was told, you were told, you're too young, we were told at the time that we were going to die in a hideous ice age. Now, in Michigan, this posed a problem.
Yeah, I would assume.
And now we're being told we're going to burn to death.
Yeah.
Now, you might in the afterlife.
Yes,
but
that'll be 2 years.
yes, but if you think about it, these are the very same people who told us you're going to freeze to death or telling you you're going to burn to death. So
Exactly. Same guys that put it on the cover of Time, put it on the cover of Time 20 years ago. Last question to you, real quick, PAB. If you only worked 2 hours a day, you could convince a judge that's a religion. If you can convince climate change is a religion, you can convince working 2 hours a day is a religion. Am I right? Say yes.
I don't actually think so, but I did want to thank the congressman for making me younger than Bill. I really appreciate that.
Does this mean you'll date me now?
There's a little problem of having a husband.
Yes, all
she has to
right.
stay within her species.
I apologize to all women who find Bill slimy. That's a lot of women.
There's just 3.
All right, I would do anything for this next segment, but I won't do that. I'm talking about marrying a marmoset, of course. I don't even think it's legal.
It's not.
Yeah. What's Dolph Lundgren up to these days? He'll be here to tell us, and then hopefully take us all out for ice cream.
What?
Yes, he doesn't know that.